whispered to me a few minutes ago and said, "President, we must make these national celebrations bigger and bigger so that they can get more and more of our people to participate so that we can consolidate the identity of all of us as South Africans, because this is what forms a nation. We must celebrate our national day like Freedom Day because it was hard fought for. We got here through the struggles of those who have come before us, and we must celebrate this day and celebrate their lives as well." And Minister Mthethwa, I agree with you. You now have an order to go ahead and do it. We will share stories with the younger generation of where we were on that day, because they need to hear where we were on the 27th of April in 1994. They will want to hear, what were you doing on that day? But they will also want to hear, what were you doing before that day? They will also want to hear our experience as we stood in the voting lines and queues. Today we have a country where all enjoy human rights and freedoms. We have a constitution that is a shield and a protection for all South Africans. We have made great progress towards realizing the rights of our people to a better life and advancing human dignity. And yet, even as we have lived in a democratic country for the past 27 years, we know that across many parts of our country, the promise of 1994 has yet to be fulfilled. Millions of South Africans still live in conditions of poverty and deprivation. For those who continue to suffer from the lack of basic services like running water, for those living without proper sanitation, as many of our people live under such conditions here in Botshabelo, for those living in fear every day from violence and crime, and for those who have no jobs to support themselves and their freedom and their families, true freedom still remains elusive. The legacy of apartheid remains a defining feature of our land. Even after nearly 3 decades, it continues in many ways to determine where people will live, what assets they own, what schooling they receive, and what jobs they can do, and how safe they feel. As we celebrate this Freedom Day, we can point to the great progress that we have made in confronting the legacy of apartheid. From the provision of water, electricity to millions, to opening the doors of learning to the children of our country, particularly the poor, to the provision of health care, to lifting millions of our people out of abject poverty. But we cannot celebrate Freedom Day without acknowledging how much further we still need to go. We cannot deceive ourselves and say, yes, we are free at last, without knowing and acknowledging that there is still a lot of work we need to do to improve the lives of our people. It cannot be that 27 years into our democracy, that our people are being deprived of even the most basic services like water and sanitation because of poor planning incompetence of some of us, mismanagement, or corruption of some of us. It cannot be that access to housing, education, and decent health care is being undermined because those tasked with service delivery do not care enough. Our people expect that those who have been tasked with the job of improving their lives should do just that. And they should not steal the resources that belong to our people and put them in their own pockets. A continued practice of stealing the resources, abusing the resources, diverting the resources, and wasting the resources is an affront against our people, and our people deserve better. They deserve the best that this country can give. So it is on such a day that we need to reflect on some of those missteps. It is on a day like this that we need to remind those that we have put, that you, the people of South Africa, have put into key positions, that their preoccupation must be the people of South Africa and not themselves. In exactly 6 months from today, we will be holding our 6th local government elections since the advent of democracy. We will be going to the polls at an immensely difficult time in the life of our country. The COVID-19 pandemic continues to have a devastating impact, not only on public health, but on our economy. But ba Yesu ba bangata ba lahlehetswe ke mesebetsi. Ba bangata ba lapa malapeng a bona. A bana dijo, a bana mesebetsi. Koduwa ena e etsahetseng mona South Africa, la e etsahetse dinaheng tse ngata, ka nnete re kentse mathateng. Bao ba di-business, ba na le di-business tsa bona, ba bangata ba bona ba fumane hore ba tlameile hore ba kwale di-business tsa bona. Families are struggling to make ends meet. The task of rebuilding our society and our country indeed is a great one. Every South African will need to be part of the great effort to restore our economy to health, to create more jobs, and to grow more businesses through the economic reconstruction and recovery plan that we announced. Every South African will need to remain part of the fight to overcome COVID-19. We are still in the midst of the pandemic, and the likelihood of a third wave of infections remains ever present. This means that we cannot let our guard down even for a moment. We need to continue to practice all the measures that we've been talking about: social distancing, washing of hands, and making sure that we are not congested in closed spaces. We must continue, yes, to wear masks, and I'm glad to see that all the people who are here today are wearing masks. We must do so whenever we're in public spaces, and we need to continue to observe all the measures. if we remain vigilant, if we exercise caution, if we act responsibly, we should be able to delay a resurgence of infections and maybe even be fortunate enough that there is no resurgence and we should be able to save more lives. In the coming weeks, we will be launching the second phase of our national vaccination program, which will focus on the most vulnerable in our population. We had stopped the Johnson & Johnson vaccine for a while, whilst our scientists and health experts were determining the efficacy and the safety of this vaccine. Minister of Finance, Dr. Mkhize, recently announced that we are going to commence, and the commencement, I think, starts today or tomorrow. We will now be continuing with the vaccination program for our health workers and thereafter embark on the second phase. Vaccinating our people is a massive undertaking that will need the support and the participation of all South Africans. In its size and complexity, in its reach and impact, the national vaccination program will be similar in many ways to the first democratic election that we held 27 years ago on this day. The success of this vaccination program is vital not only to overcoming the coronavirus pandemic, but also to enabling us to continue with our struggle for the realization of the rights of all South Africans. Democracy rests on the beliefs of free will and free choice. Our vote is the most potent weapon, the most effective weapon through which we can improve our lives and transform our communities. Whether you are in a village or a town or a city or a metro or on a farm, I call on you to exercise your right in the upcoming local government elections. I call on you to decide who amongst the many candidates has the ability and the determination to work tirelessly on your behalf. I call on you to determine the future of your own family and your community by putting your confidence in those parties that have the best policies and the will and the means to implement them. And I call on you to demonstrate with your vote your intolerance for corruption, for theft, for mismanagement of the funds that are meant for the benefit of you, the citizen of our country, the citizen of our province, the citizen of our local government. These elections are an opportunity to make your voice heard and to be part of the change that you yourself want to see. Of the many great facets of democracy is that we are able to exercise our right to protest. Our Constitution gives all of us the right to assembly, the right to protest as well. But when we resort to violent demonstrations, when we resort to burning, looting, and the destruction of property, we are undermining the very cause that we seek to advance. We are also undermining the democracy that our Constitution offers to all of us. Exercising our right to vote is by far the most powerful form of protest. If those who claim to serve you are not doing so, vote them out. take them out. Because that is the one weapon that we all have. Demonstrate to them that you don't approve of the way they are running things. If they are stealing money, vote them out and take them out. If they are abusing your resources, take them out through the vote. Over the passage of time, our democracy has grown and it has matured. So too should our approach to exercising this important right be so. Let us be guided by our loyalty alone. And our loyalty should be to our country. Our loyalty should only be reserved to that one country that we all share. The struggles waged by our forebears were not for themselves alone, they were for the generations yet to come. And today we are the inheritors. We are reaping the fruits and the seeds rather that they planted. We are now reaping all those wonderful fruits. And we must respect the struggles that they waged to bring us here. We must take a firm stand against the social ills that prevent the men and the women and children of South Africa from living lives of freedom. We must take a firm stand against violence that is perpetrated against women and children. We must speak out and report any instances of gender-based violence, even if the perpetrators are close to us. As a country, we must say no to homophobia and all forms of intolerance against members of the LGBTQI+ community. Over the past few months, there have been a series of terrible crimes that have been committed against members of this community, including murder. This is something of which we as a nation should be deeply ashamed of. I want to send a strong message that hate crime will not be tolerated in our society, and that those who are behind these crimes will be found and be brought to book. Nobody has the right to take the life and abuse someone else because of their sexual orientation. No one has that right at all. Fellow South Africans, many have paid the ultimate price so that we are able to breathe the clean air of freedom today. Over the years, we have encountered and overcome many challenges, but there are still many challenges that we are yet to overcome. These are problems common to all of us, and they impact on all of us. But like those who came before us, we understand that no challenge is too great that it cannot be overcome. The democratic breakthrough of 1994 liberated black South Africans from the tyranny of apartheid. But it also liberated white South Africans from the shackles of untruth and the false belief in racial superiority. This is because we chose the path of non-racialism, of reconciliation, of national unity, of creating a new nation from the ashes of apartheid, and we chose the path of peace. After 27 years, we are still striving to be a South Africa that belongs to all who live in it, be they black or white, man or woman, rural dweller or urban dweller, able-bodied or living with disability, regardless of their beliefs, their language, or their sexual orientation. Let us acknowledge and let us appreciate, and more importantly, let us celebrate the diversity of this country, for it is what makes us who we are. We are who we are because of the diverse nature of our nation. We may come from different backgrounds and different regions in our country, but we call ourselves South Africans with pride. We call ourselves South Africans living in the most beautiful country on earth. What is needed of us now is that we hold fast to the rope of unity as we confront our many challenges. And we have many challenges. And this past 2 years, as the pandemic started, our challenges just increased and were compounded by the pandemic. We are living through those challenges, but we will overcome. We will get over these challenges. It is the responsibility and duty of every South African who believes in this country and wants it to succeed, to believe that yes, we will overcome our challenges, but also to work together to have us overcome these challenges. Let us not abandon hope that we can become the country of our forebears fought for. Our forebears envisaged a South Africa that would be free, non-racial, non-sexist, and prosperous for all. Let us not give in to doubt and pessimism. Let us keep striving to address our challenges. Step by step, brick by brick, let us build this great nation together. That is what history demands of us, that as South Africans, we must be united in building this country brick by brick, person by person, until all our dreams have been fulfilled. Wherever you are today, I wish you a happy Freedom Day. Modimo apoloke setšhaba sa Yesu, Nkosi katekisa Afrika Dzonga, Nkosi sikelela iAfrika. God seën South Africa, and God bless our beautiful country, South Africa, and protect her people. Ke a leboha.
Thank you very much, President Cyril Ramaphosa. Ka message or feeling. Maybe one can say a word or two for a unity is very much paramount. Thank you, President, for emphasizing that. I'm now going to call the acting mayor of Mangaung Metro to give us vote of thanks. Over to you, the acting mayor.
Thank you, Program Directors, the Honorable Minister Natim Teto, and MEC Memahase, Your Excellency President Ramaphosa, Honorable Premier Madam Sisintombela, Ministers gathered here, MPs and MPLs present, executive mayors and councillors, the family of Charlotte Makreke, government officials, who are here, the priests, and everybody gathered here. I also see the leadership of the ruling party also here. My greetings to you. Honorable President, I would like to pass my sincere gratitude and gratefulness to you for being here in Botshabelo and opening this big facility in this area. This means a lot to us as the people of the Free State and especially the people of Botshabelo. Botshabelo is one of the very special places in Mangaung. I think in the whole of South Africa is the second biggest township. And you can imagine, Honorable President, what resources we need to bring here. Honorable President, this place has produced a lot of very young leaders. I think even in your cabinet you have some of them who are very intelligent, who are very dedicated to their struggle. And for you to have actually sacrificed and decided to come to this area, it's an honor to us. It's an honor to the people of Mangaung. It's an honor of the people of Botshabelo. As you speak, President, and opening this beautiful facility, what goes through my mind is that our country has another scourge, a scourge of vandalism. This government, President, since 1994, the inception of the freedom that we are celebrating today, has done a lot for our people. But if we look back, many of our facilities, President, that we built as a government, they end up either becoming white elephants or being seriously looted. In one of the Lekotlas, ANC Lekotlas, I think the issue was raised about the vandalism in the country. It goes to the extent that even our railway lines, they are being looted. Everything is looted. And I want to plead with the people of Botshabelo to say this is a facility that has been built with very scarce facilities, resources. And I want to beg you to really look into it. Particularly, the President has said in his address that we will continue as a country, as the government, to honor our fallen heroes. Charlotte Makwege being one of them, and it's my challenge to the people of Botshabelo to make sure that this facility is guarded with pride, because it means a lot to us. The whole world, you have seen for yourself, the whole world is celebrating the Freedom Day of South Africa. And today, if we are being watched by the whole world, opening this facility, and tomorrow when we pass here, it's down to the ground because of the looting, because of the vandalism, then we will be appearing as a country that is irresponsible. President, you also mentioned, I just want to touch on that. You also mentioned violent protests that are happening in this country. Mangaung at the moment, President, is experiencing the same thing. Instead of our people negotiating and reaching agreements peacefully, we always resort to vandalism. We don't even care when we resort to violent protests. We don't even care that this has been built with the scarce resources. I can mention, Honorable President, that in Mangaung at the moment, we are, as the municipality, also have embarked on the project of IPTN. It's in process. Millions of rands have been spent on that. But I can tell you that, President, at the moment, that project is being vandalized. And I would also plead with the President that our law enforcement must please not fold their hands when wrong things are happening. There is, in this democratic society of South Africa, there is no place for violence or even undermining the efforts of the government. President, I don't want to take your place. It's very difficult to speak up with the President. Mine was just to close and thank everybody who was here. Thank everybody who made this event the event it is today. You send your staff, President, long time before this. They assisted us together with the officials of the provincial government and the municipality. To them, I want to say thank you very much. And also the law enforcement agencies which were here and made sure that this gathering and the celebration of Freedom Day goes as planned. With those few words, President, the Premier, and all the ministers, councillors who are here, I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Acting Mayor Ndate Masweza. He was actually taking advantage of the stage, President. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our program. So before Rekopa President, Premier, ministers present, Hore Bagaya, Palo Pumuse Zakamale, we are going to call Teboho to render us an item while the President, Premier, and the entourage leave the stage. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Station! Voting station! Voting station!